Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a major geopolitical and economic development that's shifting trade dynamics in North America. For decades, Canada and the US have been tightly linked in industries like automotive manufacturing, sharing supply chains, facilities, and deep economic ties. But something big is happening. Canada appears to be intentionally pulling back from that long-standing US partnership, and instead it's steering toward a new, high-stakes alliance with China. This isn't just a tweak in strategy, it's a bold pivot that could reshape the auto industry and North American trade as a whole. So what's behind this shift? A big part of the answer goes back to the Trump administration and its aggressive trade policies. Tariffs imposed during that time set off a chain reaction, pushing Canada to rethink its economic future. Let's unpack what happened, what this Canada-China alliance means, how the US might be impacted, and what this says about the future of global trade. Buckle up. This is a story about economics, politics, and the evolving shape of international power. To understand this pivot, we have to rewind to the US tariffs introduced under the Trump administration. Promoting an America First agenda, the US imposed tariffs on Canadian goods, including critical materials like steel and aluminum, which are essential to car manufacturing. The threat soon expanded to automobiles and parts. This sudden hike in cross-border costs disrupted decades of seamless trade between US and Canadian automakers. Components often cross the border several times before a vehicle is finished, and tariffs made every crossing more expensive and uncertain. In response, Canada hit back with its own tariffs. The result? A fractured environment where doing business across the border became harder, riskier, and more expensive. For Canada, this instability raised a serious question. What if this is the new normal? That question triggered a search for new trade partners, leading directly to China. Canada and China have had trade ties for years, but recently, a more targeted partnership has emerged, focused heavily on the automotive sector, particularly electric vehicles. China is the world's largest EV market and a leader in EV tech, battery production, and clean energy infrastructure. For Canada, aligning with China means access to this tech, capital investment, and potentially joint ventures to develop and produce vehicles, especially EVs. Reports suggest this partnership may include new manufacturing plants, R&D centers, and even shared tech initiatives. In essence, this is a calculated bet. Canada wants to future-proof its auto industry, reduce its dependence on an unpredictable US, and position itself as a serious player in the next era of global mobility. But this isn't just about economics, it's a geopolitical signal. Canada is asserting its autonomy and showing it's willing to form major new alliances, even if they involve navigating the complexities of working closely with Beijing. So how does this affect the US? Potentially in big ways. First, American automakers could lose ground in Canada, a key export market. If Canadian plants start sourcing parts from China or jointly developing EVs with Chinese partners, the US could face reduced exports and shrinking market share. Second, there's the threat of new competition. Canadian-Chinese joint ventures might produce advanced, affordable EVs aimed at North America, including the US, that would create pressure on American carmakers, particularly if those ventures benefit from China's lower production costs. And third, this could shake up long-established North American supply chains. US suppliers could see reduced demand from Canadian partners, investment might be diverted from US markets to new Canada-China projects. Beyond autos, it raises a broader question. If Canada is willing to shift direction in such a key industry, what's to stop similar moves in other sectors? This move also plays into the broader trend of shifting global alliances. Protectionist US policies created uncertainty for allies like Canada. Now, we're seeing the results. Partners looking elsewhere for opportunity and stability. The pandemic exposed the fragility of global supply chains. Add in trade wars, and the incentive to diversify has only grown. Canada's shift is a reflection of that new reality, a middle power hedging its bets in a world that's becoming increasingly multipolar. It also touches on the idea of friendshoring, prioritizing trade with politically aligned nations. Canada's deal with China runs counter to that trend, suggesting that economic opportunity can at times outweigh political alignment. From China's perspective, this is a major strategic win. Gaining a foothold in North America through a G7 nation like Canada boosts its credibility, advances its EV ambitions, and potentially allows it to influence North American tech and trade flows. It's also a subtle challenge to US dominance. Strengthening ties with a close American ally like Canada allows China to reshape the dynamics of Western alliances from the inside out. But this partnership is not without controversy, especially within Canada. Closer ties with China raise concerns about intellectual property, data security, labor practices, and national security. Many Canadians may be wary of deepening reliance on an authoritarian regime with a history of geopolitical aggression and human rights issues. The debate is ongoing and complex. The economic upsides are clear, but so are the potential risks. It's a high-wire balancing act for Canadian policymakers. This shift may also spill over into other industries. Chinese companies, particularly in clean energy and advanced tech, are reportedly eyeing deeper investment in Canada. Think AI, 5G, solar power, wind turbines, and battery storage. But they also raise red flags, especially around infrastructure security and data integrity. Canada will have to weigh innovation and investment against the potential for overdependence or compromised sovereignty. Zooming out, this is about more than just EVs or trade agreements. It's about Canada seeking economic independence, resilience, and leverage in a rapidly evolving global economy. This doesn't mean breaking up with the US. That would be unrealistic and unnecessary. But it does mean not being solely reliant on one partner. Canada is looking to build a more diversified portfolio of alliances to withstand global shocks and remain competitive. The financial world is paying close attention. Moves like this can lead to fragmented supply chains, market volatility, and inflation, all red flags for investors. But they also open the door to innovation and opportunity. This could become a model for other middle-power nations. If Canada can successfully navigate a partnership with China, leveraging the economic benefits while managing the geopolitical risks, it might inspire others to follow suit. Countries in Southeast Asia, Latin America, and parts of Europe are already exploring similar balancing acts between global superpowers. They'll be watching Canada closely to see how it all plays out. So this isn't just a story about cars, it's about trade realignment, geopolitical strategy, and the future of international cooperation. Canada's pivot toward China in the auto industry is bold, calculated, and potentially transformative. It could redefine US-Canada trade, shake up North American supply chains, and influence how other countries chart their economic futures in a multipolar world. Now, we want to hear from you. Is Canada making a smart strategic move or stepping into dangerous territory? How do you think this will impact US-Canada relations in the long run? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this breakdown useful, give it a like, subscribe for more deep dives, and share this video with someone interested in the future of global trade. Thanks for watching, stay informed, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.